Hello and welcome to our special call-in show on coronavirus and everything connected with the disease. All your questions and queries answered right here. We'll have with us doctors to take those questions. This morning we're joined by Dr. Sameer Agarwal, endocrinologist, head of endocrinology, Apex Plus Super Speciality Hospital in Rohtak, and Dr. Manjesh Rathi, neurologist, senior consultant in neurology, director and head of Department of Neurology in Moradabad. Thank you both, doctors, for joining us this morning and taking out time to answer everybody's questions. In fact, Dr. Rathi, I wanted to start with you because, you know, now we're reaching this time when the lockdown, finally we're seeing it being lifted. You're an expert in child psychology as well. And I think a lot, there needs to be some focus on families and children and the kind of mental stress that one may have undergone during this time of the lockdown. What would you say to families now that the restrictions are easing and how to, you know, handle children?
See, for the first time in our generation, we are facing such kind of lockdown. Am I audible?
Yes, do go ahead.
Yeah. So, I am getting calls from my patients and from my friends. A lot of calls are coming regarding they are facing a lot of issues during this lockdown. The important issues are they are facing stress, they are having fear, they are having anxiety. There is a pattern change in the sleep. There is a change in the eating pattern, and they are feeling of they are socially isolated. And the reasons for this are particularly in kids because now they are doing schooling from home. There is a lack of contact with the friends, lack of contact with the colleagues. So a lot of issues are coming up, and for this, the solutions are like we have to give as a parent more time to the kids, and they should spend more time with the family. Then we have to play with the kids. We have to involve the kids in recreational activities like reading, music, some puzzle solving. And we have to make a schedule for some time for the exercises so that they will be having a proper schedule. And we should be involving the child in daily activities, like we should take them for like gardening, for some cleaning work. And the more important, what I am facing, I'm getting a lot of calls. We have to cut down on the listening the fake and misleading news because now the kids in the social in this era they understand everything. Now the children are very much worried. One small child, they called me, uncle, I may got infection through the air. So there are a lot of confusions are there. So we should explain our kids that disease is
All
this
right.
kind. Yeah.
Yes, so very important to keep talking to the children and keeping them busy during this time and involving them in housework, since that's a big issue these days. We have a first caller. In fact, we have SS Gehlot calling in from Jafrabad. Do go ahead with your question.
Good morning, madam.
Morning.
My question is that we are living in the green zone and I'm an engineer in a cement factory. My question is that our plant is running and we are regularly going to our plant or without any fail. My challenge is that whenever we are doing the major maintenance in the machine, so we have to collect so many workers, around 8 to 10 workers will work on the one machine. Then it is very difficult to maintain that social distancing. So my challenge is that to do the maintenance, we have to run our plant. But how can we maintain the social distancing among our workmen and how we maintain our machine?
All right, Mr. Gehlot, thank you so much for calling in. Dr. Agarwal, I think the very practical issues that are going to be faced by many people going ahead, especially when it's been drilled into us, you know, that it's a new normal we have to get used to, and we have to maintain certain norms to ensure that you know, this disease doesn't spread, because even though the lockdown and restrictions are lifting, it doesn't mean that coronavirus is gone.
Yeah, thanks all for joining. But I think most important, we have to deal with these practical issues. But yes, you have to maintain the social distancing. There is no point getting infected in your factory and then closing down for a couple of weeks. So very important to use the social distancing, to use the mask. And I think most important is to have frequent hand hygiene. Even if you have 7-8 workers in your factories who are working for you, it's important that every 20 to 30 minutes or they indulge in hand washing, they use their mask, whether it is a home-based mask, cloth mask, or whatever the clothes you can have, you have to use it. If by chance any of your worker is sick, get him or her investigated. That's very important.
So, and he says he doesn't have a choice, that there are situations in which many workers have to come together and you can't maintain any distance. So, in that case, you're saying you have to maintain, personal hygiene as well as screening of the workers?
Yeah, it's important if anyone is sick, he is suffering from any fever, cough, because what I understand, if you are living in an area where there are a lot of cases, then the risk goes high. So it's important, and your workers can come one by one. You can have a shift in their duties. So that has to be organized by the in charge of the factory. That's very important these days, and you have to be prepared for next 6 months or 1 year. You have to change your behavior. You have to change your working schedules. So that's very important these days.
All right, so lots of challenges ahead as everybody resumes work. We have another caller from Hyderabad, Ramana Rao. Go ahead with your question.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
My question is regarding asymptomatic. Everybody is worrying 85% of cases are asymptomatic. Suppose if the person is infected and recovered within no time, he or she doesn't know she is asymptomatic. How to identify them? Number two, everybody is allowing asymptomatic patients are permitted to go intrastate and interstate. How they scan whether the migrants are asymptomatic carriers?
All right. Well, I know that this is one of the big challenges we're seeing, isn't it, doctors, that many of those cases in India are asymptomatic or very, mild symptoms, and that is a challenge in the sense of spread of the disease. Dr. Rathi, if you could take that question.
Yeah. See, as we know, in the COVID disease, 85% of the patient, they don't have any symptoms or very mild symptoms. We call them asymptomatic carriers. So to identify this carrier is a big challenge nowadays, because in the future, like in the days coming, they will be the potent source of infections. So the important things are there. First thing, we have to maintain the 3 important hygiene as told by my fellow doctor, that hand hygiene is very important, whether you are symptomatic or asymptomatic, for a couple of months, say 6 months or 7 months in the future. Then your respiratory hygiene, while coughing, while sneezing, you have to use the band of your knee. Then you have to frequently wash your hands. Hand hygiene is important. And to diagnose this asymptomatic carrier, testing is the only possibility. By testing, large-scale testing, we can diagnose these asymptomatic carriers. There is no other clinical methods to diagnose asymptomatic carrier. But for the prevention, we should maintain 3 things: social distancing, hand hygiene, and respiratory hygiene for a couple of months in the future.
In fact, that's one of the reasons that we're now insisting on masks for everyone, is because it's more to, for the people who are asymptomatic to wear masks so they don't spread the disease rather than protecting others. We have another caller, Kiran from Chennai. Go ahead with your question, Kiran.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Actually, I wanted to know, we had reserved the stem cell for my child earlier, and I wanted to know whether has there been any investigation on if the stem cell has been useful for this treatment or any research on that?
All right. Dr. Agarwal, curious about whether stem cells can be useful at this time. And I know many people did go in for, saving the stem cell in a bank when the child is born.
So I think there is no role of stem cells at the moment, and no trial, what I understand, is going on. No role of stem cells in COVID-19 infection at the moment.
All right, so no role of stem cells at all, even though there are many studies going on about and vaccinations, etc. There are dozens of them being researched right now all over the world. We have another caller, Amarjeet, calling in. Go ahead with your question, Amarjeet.
Good morning, ma'am. I have a very simple question, madam. Why there is a sudden spike of positive cases in India?
All right, Dr. Agarwal, so I think both of you can take this. So why is there this sudden spike that we're seeing? And it's been over a month of the lockdown, over 42 days of the lockdown. So people are wondering how come the disease is still spreading so fast and we're seeing so many cases emerging every day. Dr. Agarwal.
So what I understand is that, yes, there is number of cases which we find are increasing. One reason can be more testing, and second reason can be now more states throughout India are reporting cases which have not been reporting earlier. But the silver lining is that the recovery rate is increasing.
All right. Yes, India has a very good recovery rate. Dr. Rathi, what would you like to add to this as well?
See, in a natural history of the disease, as we know, this COVID is very infectious. it is bound to increase. Like in one day, it is not going to come zero. It is not going to come zero in the future, 1 or 2 months also. So it's a natural history. Then, as told by my fellow doctor, that the reporting was less. Suddenly, some states started reporting more cases, and naturally the number of cases will keep on rising. But we are lucky in two things: as our recovery rate is very good, and the case fatality rate is very less in India. It is the least in the world.
So that's something positive. And yes, the lockdown was also meant to be this time when the government and the authorities prepared for more cases, when we see more COVID hospitals, more isolation zones are being created. We have another caller from Vizag, Srinivas Rao. Go ahead with your question.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, go ahead.
So my question is regarding my wife is 9 months pregnant. So next week she is going to deliver. So during the delivery time, during this corona pandemic, what kind of precautions she should take?
All right, Dr. Agarwal.
Pregnancy with coronavirus, the management has to be same as without pregnancy with coronavirus. All precautions have to be taken care of. You must consult your gynecologist, obstetrician. There has to be precautions which will be followed in the labor room. You have to abide by them. And you ask your pediatrician after the delivery whether to breastfeed and what precautions for the child have to be taken at the time of breastfeeding. That's very important. Breastfeeding has to be done with proper precautions. All precautions which we take in a COVID patient has to be taken in same way in COVID-19 infection and a pregnant patient.
All right. And Dr. Rathi, I think there is some sort of anxiety among people about going to hospitals and especially for this couple, given that next week they'll be, visiting the hospital to deliver a baby.
Yeah. People are not very much anxious, and it's a real question also. See, nowadays we have standard protocols for the delivery. Like every hospital, every institute which are conducting deliveries, now they are doing the before delivery or before doing any cesarean section, they are doing all infectious tests, all corona testing. And anxiety, see, in pregnancy, pregnancy is not a state where there is more chances of infection. It is as normal as the normal person. So you have to maintain, as per the standard protocol, hand hygiene, respiratory hygiene, social distancing. And in the institute, they will take care of this because nowadays there is a screening in every hospital. They screen all patients. They do the testing. And I don't think there is a big problem. And they should not be more anxious. They should consider it as a normal delivery, what it was.
All right. Well, I hope that was helpful for Srinivas. We have another caller from Sonipat, Sandeep. Go ahead with your question.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
My question is, we are using chemicals continuously 5 times in the form of soap, sanitizers, more than the normal days. So this will impact our body in the coming days?
Well, all right, Dr. Agarwal, to you, I think worried about the constant use of sanitizers and soap.
So you have to be very clear, these soaps and sanitizers, especially in adults, in children more than 2 years, they are safe. There is no doubt about the safety. If you use the sanitizer, don't take the sanitizer too much in quantity, just little bit is good enough and let it dry. And the soap which you are comfortable with, normal soap which you are comfortable with in your routine daily life is as good. So there is no problem. Until and unless you have some underlying dermatological or skin disorder, if you are a normal person, no skin disorder, these soap and sanitizer hygiene is not going to do anything harm to you.
All right. Well, I hope that clarified any doubts that the caller had. We have Partha calling in from Bengaluru. Go ahead with your question, Partha.
Good morning, Gargi. Good morning, doctors.
All right. Well,
we have my mother-in-law is an 85-year-old lady. My mother-in-law is a 85-year-old Parkinson patient, and she lives with a 24/7.
Yeah, do turn down the TV. Go ahead with your question.
7 caretaker. And the problem here is the caretaker now wants to go away to her place. We are trying to bring a new caretaker, and the agency which is supplying the new caretaker says that she is asymptomatic, she is nothing, she is all the precautions they say they are taking it. But our problem is, in spite of that, since she is 85 and I am 70, we are worried what to do. We cannot live with the caretaker and we don't know how to do.
All right, Dr. Rathi?
Yeah. See, your mother is a Parkinson's patient and she is 85 and you are telling you are around also 70 years and your home assistant, like she want to go away and you want to hire a new one. So you are worried whether the new one will have the corona infection or something, asymptomatic carrier she may be. So for that reason, you may consult your family physician or nearby family doctor. They can get her test done. They can get her screening done, and after that, you can take care and you can take her help in your home.
All right. So clearly, that this is something of a concern in many families. And Dr. Agarwal, how easy for our viewers? If you could tell us how easy is it to get a test for coronavirus or get it done for somebody like that?
I think you have to be updated about your district nodal officers, the district civil hospital or the medical college, the area which you are living in. I don't think it's difficult to get a test done. The test is either a nasopharyngeal or a oropharyngeal swab, which is most commonly done RT-PCR based, but it is being done in a government medical college or a civil hospital. You can get it done. I don't think there are any issues.
All right. We have another caller from Mumbai. Vijay, go ahead with your question.
Yeah. Good morning, doctors. I am working in the private sector. I needed some clarity. In case a worker is screened at the time of entering the workplace and he displays some symptoms like cough or fever, which could be COVID or need not necessarily be COVID, what is the protocol that should be followed in the workplace till such time his test can be confirmed? Do we need to sanitize the place then itself, or do we wait for the test results to come and then confirm what is to be done? Thank you.
All right, Dr. Rathi, yes.
See, if somebody is having symptoms, cough, cold and all that in a factory, which is a work of some hundreds of persons, so we call the patients as a suspect patients. That may be a suspected case of COVID. For that case, we have to consult the nearby authority, district authority or private institution which are authorized for COVID treatment. And till then, we can put the particular person for home quarantine for 14 days and we can send his test, his COVID test, and we can wait for that. And second thing, what question you asked for sanitization. See, sanitization is a routine in all the places where the gatherings are there. We have to mop up the floor. We have to disinfect the rooms, the cabins. That is a routine thing. And after consulting your doctor and after the report, further action will be taken.
All right. We have another caller, Suneet, calling in from Pune. Go ahead with your question, Suneet. All right. We will try and just connect with Suneet there. But Dr. Agarwal, is there anything you'd like to add? Because clearly now that we're going into this phase of returning to work, mingling with people, workers coming back, a lot of offices, a lot of workplaces are very concerned about the protocols. And as you've been emphasizing it, we have to be very careful. It's not like coronavirus has gone. It's still very much there, among people.
Yes, Gagi, I think whether you are working in a TV station, whether you are working in a private office, you are working in a hospital, or you are a teacher, you have to change your approach to life from now on. That has to be certain and clear in your mind. You have to follow certain precautions. Like most important, I think, even from the data which is coming up from China, it suggests that yes, social distancing and hand hygiene are very important, and that's the utmost thing. If you are a diabetic, control your blood sugars very well, because diabetics uncontrolled are at more risk for adverse effects. And whenever you have these symptoms of fever and cough, they can be normal viral infections or normal viral influenza. But if you are, so you have to be in touch with your physician.
Doctor, we have time for one last question. Suneet calling in from Pune. Go ahead with your question, Suneet.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I have a question. As doctor has mentioned, there are 85% patients who are asymptomatic. Are we not creating more fear in the society unnecessarily? That is my question. Because anyway, we are not able to prevented.
Sure. Dr. Rathi, he's worrying whether we're creating fear by talking about how 80% of people are asymptomatic.
See, what we are talking is a fact, and what we both doctors are telling, the three things are very important in the future, in the coming 6 months or 5 to 6 months. We have to maintain the hand hygiene, frequent hand washing, or alcohol-based sanitizers. We have to use the mask. We have to do the social distancing. It's very important. If we take three precautions in the future, in the workplaces, and in the workplaces also, we have to we have to have a triage. Like in some office, if somebody is more than 60 years, or somebody is having diabetes, somebody is having hypertension, somebody is having coronary artery disease, for them, we should allow to work from home, and they should not be allowed in the crowd. So some protocol should be made in every office, depending on the capacity, working capacity, number of persons are there. So if we take these three important hygienes, hand hygiene, respiratory hygiene, and social distancing, these three measures are very important, and it can prevent. See, the COVID is very infectious, but it is not very dreadful. The good thing is that, so if we maintain these three measures, I don't think there will be big issues in the future also.
All right. Well, thank you so much, doctors, for sparing your time and taking all those questions and all those doubts regarding coronavirus. And yes, I think now it's a new normal that all of us have to get used to as these restrictions are lifting. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you, everyone, for watching and calling in. Time for a break. We'll be back with more.